The number 3 actually seems to play an important role. Maybe that's why this tune is called Triple Dip. Hey everyone, my name is Christoph Jakob. I'm a music composer for video games. There are still a few multiplayer tracks in Splatoon 3 that I haven't made a video on yet. Today, let's have a look at one of my favorite multiplayer tracks in Splatoon 3, even though I don't know why yet. Triple Dip. One thing before we get into it. Today's video is sponsored by myself. You can now get my latest album release Splash 2 on a CD. You can order them on my Bandcamp page. Grab one before it's too late. Links to that down below. Let's get into it. Very unusual guitar part. Nice rhythm. Triple Dip, as the name already implies, does indeed start with a sort of dip before it starts introducing triple elements. This is probably the weirdest first sentence that I've ever started an analysis part with. But let me explain. The intro starts with power chords. Power chords are chords that only consist of the root and the fifth note. Because there is no third in the chords, you can't tell if they are major or minor. Power chords have a very neutral sound to them. The 4 power chords that are being used in this intro here do outline some sort of chord though, an E flat major 7 chord. Starting from the highest note of this chord, turning that into a power chord, and then moving down this implied chord note by note. Combine that with the rhythm of the guitar, and it pretty much sounds as if someone is falling down the stairs. Once we literally dip through the intro, is that even proper English? We find ourselves in another little segment that once again sounds like an intro. The number 3 actually seems to play an important role in the rhythmic section of this tune. Maybe that's why this tune is called Triple Dip. Listen to what the guitars are doing rhythmically. To make it easier to follow along, you could divide this riff into little segments of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. In so many of my previous videos, I've pointed out that the Splatoon composers love using both the minor and the major third in their guitar riffs. And guess what's happening here? The drums also sound quite frantic. Seems like the drummer has had a lot of fun. Meanwhile, the vocals are certainly one of the elements of this tune. Yeah, they keep singing the exact same note in the exact same time intervals for several bars. Nice rhythm. Considering just how chaotic the guitar riff and the bass are, you could argue that they serve as a kind of counterweight that keeps our attention right on track without annoying us too much. If you really want to end a friendship quickly, you could also try to play these vocals on a kazoo bone. Also, the song uses cowbells. Awesome song, I want to chew on it, 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Nah, we're not done yet. Halftime. The song makes you want to headbang. After looking into it a little more, I can safely say that this part here is the main reason why I like this tune so much. Not only do I think it's amazing to start a piece of music fast and then move to halftime in the drums, which means you're not actually touching the tempo, but the perceived tempo is significantly slower, simply because there's a lot more space between the kick and the snare sounds in the drums. But that's not all that makes this tune so great. The chord progression they decided to use here is not only unusual, it's exceedingly extraordinary. Let me play it first, and then I'm gonna talk about what makes it so special. This ambiguity of not clearly being major or minor is quite apparent in triple dip. This leads to a rebellious sound that you wouldn't typically hear in this kind of music, simply because C-side do not seem to care about musical conventions and how you should write a piece of music at all. We're starting on a D minor chord, our safe and stable home base. No, actually it's a D major chord now. So what key is this? Maybe the next chord could help us. Oh, it's an F sharp major chord, which appears in neither of these two keys. Even though it's admittedly a little more subtle here, the number 3 continues to be an integral part of triple dip. Just check out the rhythm of this halftime section. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. Just to clarify, what I'm counting here is not the time signature. The time signature is just a regular 4/4 throughout the entire song. But there are these triplets and triplets-esque elements that I was trying to count. Even the kick drum has a triple element here and there. It's not going boom, tsh, boom, boom, tsh, or something like that, but instead it's going boom, boom, tsh, boom, 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 tsh, boom, boom, tsh, boom, 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 tsh. The section then more or less repeats, but we're not in halftime anymore. We're back in normal time. And the number 3 plays an even more important role here. Let me just play along to this entire section to demonstrate what I've been talking about the entire time. These chord progressions are so interesting. Very humanoid vocals. This song goes so hard, to be honest. Very nice. I love this kind of music. These were probably the most humanoid vocals I've ever heard in a Splatoon song. I like it and I think they fit too, but it does make me wonder if they simply forgot to put the effects on the vocals here? Probably not, to be honest, but this choice does make me wonder a little. People tend to say that Paint Scraper is the heaviest and toughest multiplayer track in Splatoon 3. And so did I back in the days. My very first video like this was actually about Paint Scraper. I'm admittedly not happy with that video at all. It did not age that well. And I still had no idea what I was doing back then. But let's be real, triple dip goes unnecessarily hard. Way more than Paint Scraper. In this final section especially, it's quite hard to figure out just what exactly is going on. I mean, it does sound amazing, even though it feels a little like someone is trying to do too many things at the same time. Hello? No, I'm not busy. But I actually mean that in the best ways possible, because it works. What I really like about triple dip is that there's not a single part that sounds completely normal. Until the very end, there's always something in there that makes you go, huh, what was that? Like, listen to the final riff the guitars are playing. It sounds so odd because it doesn't really make that much sense harmonically. But to be honest, it's exactly things like these that make Splatoon music so interesting and so fun to listen to. Thanks for watching. Like this video and subscribe if you have not already. Follow me on my socials, feel free to join my Discord server, and consider checking out my own Splatoon-inspired albums Splash and Splash 2. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Like this video and subscribe if you have not already. What was that? These were probably the most Vocaloid... Mann! These were probably the most humanoid vocals. These were probably the most... Fuck this, I go home.